54 Sports is sponsored by Alpha Insurance.
Hey everybody, Alabama softball is taking off and landing in Oklahoma City ahead of their 15th appearance at the Women's College World Series. Nick Kuzma hung out with the Tide before they departed for OKC, and he's got more on their journey to this point.
And they are on their way. This incredible and improbable run by the Alabama softball team all began when they shook off a losing record in the SEC and a one-and-done performance at the conference tournament. Now, since then, they've won a home regional, taken down Tennessee on the road in a super regional, and now they are officially heading to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series.
You know, I just talked to an alum, Katie Johnson Rooney, on the way here, and she's like, Murph, holy buckets. Is this really happening? And I said, Katie, it's the same response I've had. And everybody should be so proud of this group because, you know, they could have listened to the negativity, and they didn't.
For the 15th time in program history, Alabama softball will play for a national championship. But despite being one of only 3 programs to ever make it to the World Series, more than it hasn't, hat tip to Coach Murphy on that stat, the Crimson Tide will be underdogs all the way, something the team seems to be embracing.
We love being the underdog. You know, nobody expects us to win. They haven't expected this out of us this entire time, and getting to prove everybody wrong, it's made it so much more fun.
Nobody expects it from you, so you just creep up and get after it and then shock the world.
Well, if you're an Alabama sports fan and you feel like you've heard the story of regular season bumps turning into success down the stretch, just know you aren't alone in that line of thinking. Before heading to OKC, Coach Murphy arranged 2 guest callers, and one of them was no other than head coach Nate Oates.
He stepped away from one of his daughter's birthday parties to call us and say, dude, this is the same thing as us. And I knew that all year long. I just had that feeling. Like even Coach Saban's last year, you know, they lose a tough game, don't play very well against South Florida. Everybody's saying the sky's falling, and then they just started to improve. And it really has mirrored our season. Football first, basketball second, and then softball third. And, you know, we're going for broke now.
Alabama's quest for a second national title begins versus the number 6 national seed UCLA on Thursday at 11 a.m. From Tuscaloosa National Airport, I'm Nick Kuzma, Fox 54 Sports.
Thanks, Nick. So here's a look at that full slate of Women's College World Series matchups. Alabama kicking things off against UCLA, as Nick mentioned, and the day will wrap up with Oklahoma State and Florida.